Tonight on America, the Conversation, PragerU is trying to influence your children with right-wing propaganda. How can you stop it? Well, listen to this left-wing propaganda and find out. Tonight on America, the Conversation. Hello and welcome to America, the Conversation. I am one of your hosts, Tim Phillippe, and with me, as always, is Andrew Turner. What's up, man? Yes, Andrew. Can I go
to the bathroom?
No. If you do, it's the leftist telling you that that pee is real. I don't know. That's as dumb as something that would be in the curriculum about the company we're talking about today, and that's called PragerU. The advent of one Dennis Prager, let's call him a sex pest. I like that term a lot. It's an Australian word. He's definitely probably that. Can't necessarily confirm, but he did write a op-ed, two Andrew op-eds.
Two op-eds.
Trigger warning. This is has to do with sexual assault, but that you should be able to demand sex from your wife. Multiple things about that, and that man has set up a person who wrote two articles like that. They're not an accredited university. They're not a university whatsoever. They are literally the equivalent of if the Young Turks said, we're doing Young Turks U and pushing leftist propaganda out there. The exact same, except right-wing and fascist, and run by, again, Dennis Prager and Ben Shapiro and Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens and who's that dickhead from Turning Point? Charlie Kirk. I hate that guy so much. He's got a dumb face. Another square head.
The man with the world's smallest face. Yes.
Small face, square head. Another, we talked in a recent episode about how the GOP all has square faces, or at least hardcore right-wing fascists all have square heads. And like Sean Hannity, Matt Gaetz, Charlie Kirk, Donald Trump. I think Vladimir Putin's kind of got a square head, but he might be dead. Who knows? Let's see how well that ages at this point. But so PragerU, they're coming for your kids, and specifically in Florida, New Hampshire, and what's the other one they're trying to move in on? I forget. I think Ohio. That wouldn't surprise me if it was. But
I mean, they tried to do it in Texas too,
They
right?
tried in Texas. It didn't work. There was a bit of misinformation that came out that said that the Texas government had approved it, but they apparently never actually did. So Texas, you're safe for now, but Florida, you are, from kindergarten through 12th grade is what they're allowing to teach and show Prager videos, their learning materials, everything like that. Excuse me. It's very dry in here because it's Texas and hot. But no, climate change doesn't exist, though, at least according to PragerU. At least that's what they would have you tell me. So what I just said is false. I'm just, I'm a loser who needs to drink water and also make a bunch of noise during a podcast with a noisy water bottle. So, but yeah, they teach things like climate change don't exist. What was the, critical race theory, obviously bad. The slaves didn't have it that bad. They were just in an agreement. And they even went as far as to have Frederick Douglass, or a cartoon of Frederick Douglass, say that. So, yeah. Andrew, are you going to, if you have kids someday, you want to show them PragerU? Show them both sides. You got good people on both sides, right? Or,
I will not show my non-existent hypothetical children fascist propaganda when they are children.
Is it propaganda, though? Yes.
Yes.
End of the episode. This has been American Conversation.
We're done. Look, they've done. You mentioned a few things there. I want to go over some other ones.
Yeah,
they've talked about. They talked about how the AIDS crisis was only for gay people and didn't affect straight people, and it was the punishment of God. They've, of course, denied climate change, been pro-Columbus, been pro-colonization in general. They've been pro-Israel, no matter what Israel does, and its occupation and apartheid of Palestine and the Gaza and the West Bank. Let's see, what else have they done?
Young
promoted
Earth
fossil
creationism.
fuels.
That's a big thing.
Young Earth creationism.
Well, the fossil fuel thing, it's because, real quick before you keep going, they are fully funded by Dan and Ferris Wilkes, who are fracking billionaires, as well as
crazy.
The Lynd and Harry Bradley Foundation. I don't know who they are. I assume they have something to do with something terrible, but forgot to look them up. But yeah, so fracking fully funds PragerU. Continue.
They have made videos against the $15 minimum wage and the minimum wage in general, against increased gun control of any type, in support of capitalism and anti any socialist policies. They do promote one good thing, which is don't be anti-Semitic, I suppose, but that has a lot to do with their support for the Israeli right-wing government.
Right at anti-Semitism. Okay, cool.
Yeah, they didn't jump over the Nazi hurdle in the fascism line. They stuck to just regular right-wing Christian
they wanted to.
Yeah, they.
I feel like
give them 10 years.
Not to fully derail, but I feel like the right-wing fascists in this country are Nazis for everything but Jewish people. Like or at least they are trying to claim that so they can just toe that party line so that the Jews and Palestinians all fight each other, or Israelis and Palestinians fight each other so the end of the world happens. But that's a whole separate.
Yeah, I would say that Jews have been moved closer into the "you are white" category in the last 100 years for conservatives around the world than a lot of other groups. Now, that's not to say that there aren't hugely anti-Semitic Nazis on the far right. There are. But
the mainstream
I think that the mainstream conservative right wing has brought in Jewish people into the fold.
I mean, Ben Shapiro and then Candace Owens is a black person that's brought into the fold.
Well, there's always that's not the same. That's not my point, because like there was literally gay and Jewish and black Nazis like in Germany.
Oh well,
like
I did not know that. Holy shit!
Until they were killed. Yes, absolutely.
Wow, that is full news to me. What the fuck?
Yes. That being said, I think that culturally, most conservatives, if you sat down with them and said anti-Semitic things, would think you're disgusting.
Yeah.
Right. Which
Absolutely.
is good. Which is good. Like, unlike Nazi Germany, I think that conservatives at this point have kind of pulled, like they have done at some level with Latinos, and why they embrace a lot of Latino conservatives is they've pulled them into the brand of, okay, well, you're close enough to white, like they did with the Irish before, or the Polish, or that kind of thing.
So much so that the PragerU cartoons feature 2 Latin children that are time traveling and talking to Frederick Douglass and George Washington and blah blah blah.
I want to remind our viewers and listeners, though, that fascism always leads to excluding the other, right? So if they get rid of everybody that they think is the other now, they will move on to the next group, and that eventually will include you, no matter who you are. So that's the thing, is there is some insidiousness with fascism in that it does offer in its early stages, like, well, join us and we won't hurt you. But then, of course,
then they do.
It's a pit of vipers, and they do. Yeah,
you called it the leopards that eat their own face party. In an episode recently I was editing. Yeah, that's them.
Yeah, that's what they are. And eventually they will eat your face too. So I mean, like, there is some level of that. But what PragerU, to kind of jump back onto it, has done, has taken what is the most far right capitalist Judeo-Christian fascist values, and they've distilled them down into easy to 5 to 10 minute to watch videos, and that has been the source of their success
for kids.
Animated.
A lot of them.
Well,
some of them, not all of them, but a huge chunk.
They do a tip. They're famous for the typical thing of like having someone stand on a green screen with graphics moving beside them that are horrible graphics that are not up to standards of ethics and mathematics.
Yeah. Some of those people, just to name them real quick: Ben Shapiro, who's head of the Daily Wire, Charlie Kirk, head of Turning Point USA, Jordan Peterson, famous incel king, Candace Owens, Fox commentator, and a black woman who constantly rails that black people don't have it hard, and they're exaggerating slavery and things like that. And then our good old friend Tucker Carlson, all have made. Helped, whether or not they've made a video specifically. I know Ben and Candace have.
Have they made a video, Tim? Are videos being made? That is the question.
Go back to Twitter. Go back to X, whatever it's called. I don't care.
I'm just asking questions here, Tim. Did I make a video?
I haven't heard that impression in so long, and it's been so nice. Like it's like he doesn't exist to me anymore, and it's fantastic. But now he's back, and he sent chills up my spine. This square head, another square head guy.
Yeah, well, I don't have a pregnant wife that I can abuse, so I can't do like a lot of
hardcore saying, like accusing him of that.
Steven Crowder impressions. And
Steven Crowder.
I can't I'm too much of a large man to stuff myself into a locker, so I can't sound like Ben Shapiro at his height. So it's really just Tucker that I can do on the right-wing media sphere.
Ben Shapiro, whose Daily Wire Entertainment has already ripped off the famous, wonderful Australian kid show Bluey with their Chinchilli or something like that. It's about a chinchilla, but animation, song, everything. It's a right-wing version of Bluey. It's very
Produced
sad.
by PragerU.
The Brisbane government has called it a disgrace to, I think, mankind or just simply Australia. But yeah,
they're right on both counts.
Yeah. It's both. Yeah, if anything, it's both. But yeah, so Ben, all these people, Prager, yeah, they're trying to influence your kids in every single way, like with their right-wing propaganda.
Instead of worrying about razor blades and LSD in your kid's candy, which never happens, worry about PragerU in your kid's school. Oh,
they're giving you weed gummies on
I'm gonna give away
Halloween.
my fucking $12 weed gummy to some fucking
for
stupid kid
$12, yeah.
in an Iron Man mask. Like, no, that's mine. That's my candy. That Daddy Andy's candy.
They're
That's
also
no one
not
else's
individually
candy.
wrapped, man. So like, just for whatever. I'm not getting into that stupid satanic panic misinformation 90s bullshit. But hell, I'd be surprised if Prager wasn't trying to say that same thing. But yeah, continue what you were saying.
I don't even remember now.
Who knows? But
PragerU, unlike candy that can poison your children, is a real threat to your kids.
There you go.
Because it's like, as Tim mentioned earlier, it's showing up now as applicable teaching methods in schools in different school districts across the country, to where instead of teaching a lesson, a teacher can put this on the TV and say, "Watch PragerU. This is truth."
Yes.
On a Columbus Day.
We get video day in class. That's what their video day is now. Teacher doesn't have a lesson, they put on a PragerU video on YouTube.
And the insidious part about that is, if you're a teacher that isn't into politics a lot, like you don't know, and you're given this resource through an email, you may not know that you're showing right-wing propaganda to kids. And look, I don't want left-wing propaganda in schools. I want the truth. I want people to be given an education. I want them to discuss propaganda back and forth and come up with their own ideas and discuss other ideas of philosophers. Like, I don't mind talking about propaganda points in school, but I don't want propaganda mouths like literally playing. Like, I don't want Birth of a Nation playing on TV screens in schools. I don't want Nazi like war songs at huge rallies being played without context in schools. I guess you could, if you have a poli-sci class in a high school and you show PragerU and you pause it and go, now what about this? Like, let's talk about that. Like, is that true? That's different, right?
Yeah.
But the idea that you can just put these on and air them without critical critique to children is disgusting, because first off, they're filled with lies, and we could get into what we could debate, but they're filled with just falsehoods.
Yeah.
Second off, these are the same people that would get horribly angry if anybody came to their school and started talking about like the benefits of socialism. If anybody came to their school and started preaching about Allah or Yahweh, or if anybody, like, that their kids would be manipulated by the LGBTQ agenda by seeing a rainbow mural.
Yeah. Well,
but they're not being manipulated by Dennis Prager, the man who's argued for big tobacco, who's argued you can R-word and SA your wife if she's your wife, the man who has argued that every genocide America has done is justified, the man who justified Columbus's actions, the man who, I mean, he's just a disgusting freak.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of bad people on the right-wing movement, but Dennis Prager is a disgusting freak.
Yeah.
And let's go ahead.
Yeah,
Sorry.
no, I
hate him.
Yeah, no, yeah. We are, fun fact, not friends with him. Not anymore. No, we never were.
Not friends of the show. Not friends of the show anymore. Not anymore. Not after he refused to pay for the pizza. Yeah. Like, that was ridiculous. We all threw in $8.
He well, their whole mission is the fact that they think that the education system in general, which is why Ron DeSantis in Florida has like signed off on all of this and is ready for PragerU to be in the schools, like specifically Prager, is they think that the liberal propaganda is trying to LGBTQify your kids. Who knows? But that sounds like something they would have said. But they
turn your kids gay.
Yeah, they're trying to turn your kids gay. They're trying to sexualize your children. Blah 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 blah. None of which is true. The reality of the don't say gay thing, just for Florida in general, is like they're not allowed to talk about it at all, to the point where teachers can't talk about their husbands or wives, or kids can't talk about their dads or their moms. And that's Florida now. So, but it's getting worse with the PragerU. It's going to be at Oklahoma and New Hampshire are both the ones considering it. And they have 300,000 regular grassroots donors from across the country, not just being funded by, the Lyndon Harry Bradley Foundation and Dan and Ferris Wilkes, the fracking billionaires, and again, Dennis Prager, who I'm sure himself is some sort of billionaire just based off of, I guess, YouTube clicks
multimillionaire
at this point. Multimillionaire, but God, like he looks like the kind of guy, not to talk about appearance, but just a creep. If you saw Dennis Prager, you would go, I don't trust that guy. He looks like a fucking creep. But the same with Charlie Kirk, for that matter.
He was a big like offshoot of Rush Limbaugh.
Charlie Kirk.
Like he came up in Dennis Prager did in conservative right wing radio.
Okay.
So like that's how he made his money. Yes, like Mike Pence. He made his money being like one of those people on radio who just says the most horrible things in order to get attention. And I think that he's repeated that, with PragerU, is let's say things that we know, that let's present horrible ideas that we have in a very sleek, soft corporate like package.
Yeah.
And convince people that it's just fact instead of complete fucking mistruths.
Yeah,
like
it's all mistruths, and they do that. Like, well, the most disgusting part is doing it, and I'm biased because I'm a voice actor, through animation, and having two Latin kids, like a sister and a brother, like going back in time and wondering, like, well, why can't we have socialism or something like that? And then having George Washington explain to them all of this bullshit, or having Frederick Douglass tell them that, well, the slaves, it was actually an agreement with their masters and all those things. And I know I'm just repeating the same two talking points because, that's what they do as well. But also telling kids that climate change doesn't exist, saying that the earth was created it was 7 days, 6,000 years ago, or whatever the fuck it was. Like it's all right-wing stuff, to the point where Kevin Cruz, who's a professor at Princeton University, was saying that it's obviously propaganda indoctrination aiming to be more patriotically correct, a patriotically correct version of history. I'm like, that's accurate. He's not pro Prager. He's like anti-Prager from what I can gather. But
no, it's a play on political correctness.
Yeah,
like instead it's patriotic correctness.
So,
like if you're not patriotically correct, you'll be shamed. Like that is
which is insane. Like I don't know when
this is the same person who said that COVID-19 lockdowns, Tim, were the greatest mistake in human history.
Okay. Yeah.
Not the Holocaust,
there have been a few mistakes.
Yeah, not Genghis Khan's rampage over Europe and Asia. No. Not
the Chicago fire.
Not Adam, even sticking to his own mythos, like
Adam and Eve
eating from the apple from the garden of the tree,
bringing sin upon humanity.
Yeah, no, that's fine. It was the COVID-19 lockdowns that means you cannot go get your cheddar poppers at Applebee's, and that's unacceptable. That is the worst thing that humanity has ever done, is that we all had to spend 8 months inside our house playing video games and getting checks from the government instead of like, I don't know, the genocide of the Native Americans.
Yeah. The Trail of Tears.
Let's not even go big with genocide. Yeah, let's take specific instances.
Yeah.
Like, I like it is. This man is ridiculous and says ridiculous things. He said that making gay marriage equal in 1996. He said making gay marriage equal would be decline Western civilization in front of Congress. This is a man, like I said multiple times, and I just want to reiterate this, has published 2 articles that are still up about how he is allowed to demand sex from his wife and even force himself upon her, as are all married men, because that is part of being married, according to him.
Yeah.
Like, this man is a disgusting fucking creep.
Yeah.
And now he's fucking taking his propaganda and shoving it down your children's fucking throats in school.
Yeah.
Not even outside of
just
school.
in Florida right now. Like that let's be clear there. It's not everywhere, but
Sure, but it's coming.
It's coming, absolutely, and at least
It's
in
a new
Oklahoma, New
conservative
Hampshire, and
legislative
Florida.
plan. I like what happens with this, Tim, is like people will write legislation like ALEC or a bunch of other groups. They'll write legislation and they'll send it to all 50 fucking states
Yes,
for
yeah,
all
they do
Republican
that.
parties.
Mhm.
And then the Republican Party will just
in the
scrape
blanks,
out whatever
yeah.
state it is and fill in the
Mhm.
blank. And then they'll fucking pass this legislation. That is going to
insert
happen
state
with this
here.
PragerU.
Yeah.
Yep. That is
Basically,
what's going to
yeah.
happen with this PragerU shit. Is
Mhm.
every Republican Party in every state, I mean, barring some exceptions, I'm sure,
Yeah.
but most other Republican parties are going to try to pass
Mhm.
legislation that allows teachers to treat this like it's education when it's not. It's fascist propaganda.
Yeah. Like, we are also propaganda. We do not want you to teach us in schools. We sometimes get things wrong.
Please don't put me in schools.
Yeah, don't put us in schools.
Please don't put me in a school. Please, please, please. If you are under 18 and you are listening to this, stop. I realize if you're probably like 15 to 18 and you're like in your rebellious stage and you're into politics.
First.
Yeah, I mean, like you're not gonna listen to me, and I get it. But especially if you are a child, if you somehow stumbled on this while you're playing Roblox and Fortnite, like, do not listen to me and Tim make sex jokes, bad sex jokes. It's not appropriate.
Yeah.
Like, and by the way, you don't need to be worried about this right now. Wait till you get 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 years old and you start identifying who you are and yourself in relation to the world.
And what your political beliefs are.
And what your political beliefs are and philosophical beliefs,
Yeah.
and talk to the people you love, talk to your friends, your family, your religious leaders, whatever. Like get multiple opinions, go out into the world, meet new people at colleges and coffee shops and traveling. But do not think that if you are a child, like you are under 16 years old, under 18 years old, under 14 years old, which are all different stages, but children, you do not need to be consuming propaganda made by billionaires.
Yeah,
like let alone us.
And
like,
they're teaching
us, let alone billionaires.
They're teaching this to kindergarteners. Like I said, this is PragerU in Florida is for K through 12 across the board. They can any teacher who's doesn't have a lesson plan for the day or just wants to, or maybe they're very pro this because a lot of people in Florida are right wing. Like it's not it's no big surprise there.
Look,
but like,
I'm willing to allow Florida to continue to teach PragerU as its only course as long as we agree to my Florida wall plan, which is where we build a wall around Florida and give it to all conservatives.
Super short wall.
It's a very short wall.
Yeah.
Like we just have to build it out like 50 miles in either direction on the coast, and nobody can even swim around the thing. So I'm very much behind Florida wall policy, and I'm willing to compromise and say, teach the kids all the fascist propaganda, but you have to take all the conservatives from the country that are willing to go and just make Florida your own independent state. Yeah. That is my plan.
Yeah.
Andrew. By the way, I turned 35 tomorrow. I can run for president.
There you go. So let's get Andrew in office and keep PragerU out. That's the only thing we need to do. But yeah, I personally,
I can fix all your problems. Just elect me, Andrew Turner. I'm the only one who can fix it. And if you put me in charge, and just give me like 12 to 30 years as dictator, I'll fix a bunch of stuff. A bunch of
only
stuff.
Because I know Andrew, I'd be fine with it, mostly because I'd probably be set up just fine.
I'd be a horrible despot, but I would be much better than the vast majority of horrible despots.
And I mean, shit, that's probably what, our next dictator, if we ever have one, might even come out of Florida because of the right-wing shit. And that's what's so scary about it all. Like, one, I don't think it's going to last that long because I think no corporation really wants, like Disney, who's huge in Florida, really wants that kind of right-wing craziness out there all the time. Like I have a feeling, I don't know, maybe some sort of mega donor who leans more left-wing will help stop this kind of thing. And most people finding out about PragerU early in advance because people like us, or to a greater extent, like John Oliver and other people, Sam Cedar, who make content about, hey, watch out for PragerU. It's fucking crazy. And it's right-wing. I have faith that the people will help stop that, like how people have codified abortion into their constitutions in Kansas and other places like that. But right now, that's not the case. It's like how all the kids did stayed and studied at home during COVID, and we lost 2 years of kids learning proper math. Like right now, they're being indoctrinated from the age of 4 to 5, which is kindergarten, I believe, through 12. And regardless, you're still very, very, susceptible to any sort of propaganda. Hell, through your old ages, you're susceptible to it throughout your whole life. But they are these spongy minds of these 4 through 10-year-olds and beyond that are being told that, the climate hysteria is fake, that the election was stolen, and that, black slaves, enslaved human people did not have it hard back during the,
They learned
1800s.
valuable skills, Timothy.
They learned transferable skill. I really do think that was actually one of the quotes. They learned transferable skills. I think that's what Frederick Douglass. I could be making that part up, but yeah,
No, I'm pretty sure you're right. I will also point out that when it's pretty disgusting,
like light admin and things like that kind of transferable skill. Like, fuck you, PragerU.
I think it was mostly textiles and picking cotton.
Right.
Yeah.
God damn it.
No. They're despicable human beings. He's an eldritch being that should be cast into the dark.
Dude,
dark
Eamon
place.
Animations
Thrown into the Phantom Zone. Yeah.
We'll link that into the description of this episode.
It's so good.
Eamon Animations cannot get enough of that guy. He's doing
Big props.
think the Cthulhu's work or something. I don't know if it's the Lord's work.
He's doing
a Lord's work. Not sure which one. They are from
a Dark Lord's
work. But his animations of the one, especially with about Dennis Prager, man, I could talk about it all day. But
the centipede
the gradual shift. It's how he gradually shifts it is as an animation fan.
It's horror.
It's fucking
horror.
fantastic.
It's amazing horror.
We'll link his channel and specifically that video. Watch it. You will be scared.
There's Ted Cruz ones. There's Donald Trump ones. You all should check him out. There's some great horror.
The Alex Jones and Kanye one was really, man, that was fucking crazy. But
I do want to point out also
what is a woman? Oh yeah, and that's the thing. He uses their actual words in their video as they're saying these things. They're morphing into Cthulhu style monsters. Enjoy after you watch the show. Okay.
I do want to say, do you want your kids having anyone else who, when they got COVID, injected ivermectin into them to give them lessons? Because that is what Prager did, apparently.
What?
He is an avid anti-vaxxer and said that he used ivermectin when he caught it in 2021.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Horse dewormer.
That's so dumb. I can't. Why are people I want to know where that one. I think was that Joe Rogan that came up with the ivermectin bullshit, or who?
I'm not sure who came up with it. I think it was just like a right wing conspiracy, crazy,
or some scientist said this may work.
Solution.
And it doesn't. I'm like, oh, sorry.
Yeah. And then it got blown up on the internet. And then what happened is Trump was listing things that weren't the vaccine that could help. Maybe we can inject bleach.
Yeah.
Maybe we can put light in the veins. Maybe ivermectin.
Hold on. He said,
yeah, you don't remember that?
No, I don't
remember.
Yeah.
He's like, some scientists are just putting light in your veins and it kills it.
Light in your veins. Does he mean like a tanning bed? I'm really trying to give him some sort of
no.
It's
Timothy?
Trying to speak a stupid as a language. Are you?
He just said. I just noticed yesterday that the U.S. it spells us, spells the United States. That's crazy.
We didn't get to talk about any of that, and this was at this point of this release of this episode a long time ago. But he said
it was here in New Hampshire.
Here in New Hampshire, or there, whatever. And
yeah, you're not here.
I just figured it out the other day. U.S. it spells us. I'm pretty sure I'm the first person to think of that or say that.
Wow.
And wow. I want to know what. I think he truly believes some of this stuff. That's the only way. I think it's delusional.
It suggests
is that a disease, like a mental disease?
It suggests to me that he doesn't read that much because
that's the first time you've seen the letters U and S together ever. God, what in the fuck? I've never seen those two letters together.
What if PragerU is just designed to give Donald Trump right-wing talking points, right?
Oh, man, since he won't you're going to start another conspiracy theory.
Since he won't read any papers. Okay, we know he won't read. So maybe if we just make short little videos that are bright and flash, Donald Trump will say the right-wing talking points.
I think these might work on his son. They'll work on him. They'll trust us. They'll work on him. That was my best Dennis Prager impression.
It's like Vought Tech. They're testing America's children to see if it'll work on Donald.
Dude, yeah. Well, that's kind of what Fox is. No, they gave every time Fox would say something, he would parrot it. You may not really be that far off.
There was 4 years, and we were talking about this at the time when I was doing that other podcast with the boys. But there were 4 years where you could watch Fox talk directly to the president
all the time.
They would turn to the camera and just be
Mr. President.
Mr. President. Yeah. And they'd start talking. And it was insane to me that they knew that he watched so much fucking
because
Fox
his tweets
News.
would come out later, right after that was said,
during the
25 minutes.
During the segment.
Yeah, dude. fucking like, wow. Yeah. So, I mean, we could just keep going around saying that, Dennis Prager is, for sure a creep, a sex pest. We could keep going around saying how fascist they are. And maybe we should keep reiterating that over and over again, but you're going to get bored after a while. Just know this. If you are a parent with children, when, some of you hopefully are, or not, whatever.
Feel free to watch PragerU yourself, realizing that it's bullshit and full of lies.
Yeah.
And know that we're not like manipulating you,
No. Please look at this yourself.
Do not let your kids watch the shit.
Because do your due diligence and show, monitor your kids' stuff for everything. Even watch Bluey just in case. Bluey's fine.
I mean, trust your kids. I'm anti
rules.
Being authoritarian.
Sure, no, trust your kids, but make sure you're watching, stuff with them to explain to them things that did the slaves really have it easy? No, Jimmy, they did not. This is a lie.
No,
do not watch
they were regularly
worked.
They were regularly worked and beaten to death in our word.
Yeah, this is not. These are
They were ripped away from their families.
Yeah,
they were ripped away from their families regularly. They were treated like chattel fucking animals and livestock. No, it was not. They didn't learn any skills. The vast majority of them lived and died in slavery. They never got to teach or learn anything to do their children. They never got to live a real life. And it's the same with Columbus. It's the same with AIDS in the 90s. It's the same with climate change. They literally just take whatever the multi-billionaires and far-right Judeo-Christian fascists want as talking points and then make them seem nice.
Yeah.
Spiff them up. Make them seem professional and intelligent, like they're a real university. And that's why they call themselves PragerU.
Not accredited. Not accredited. They're a non-profit.
Because they're trying to present, unlike us, who are saying hey, a lot of this is our opinion. We'll tell you when things are fact.
We're not news. These
all
are
the
opinions.
time. Yeah. There's all the time. Tim and I will be like, I don't fucking know. I'm just fucking spitballing here. Unlike PragerU, that presents with its speakers as if it is fact, as if they are professors, as if this is 100% researched and solid in stone, when a lot of it is straight up lies.
Yeah.
Just fucking lies for the
All
benefit
lies.
of the rich and the far right.
Yeah. They are going to continue to do this. And you can, again, by monitoring your kids' stuff, talking to them about it. There's also, and I feel like this is the most ironic thing ever, but it does exist. Current Affairs has put out a student's guide to resisting PragerU propaganda. It is available for $14 on Amazon in a hardback.
Capitalism, baby.
I know. And the capitalistic aspect of this is just, I love it. But they do have
Defending against fascism, only $14.99.
Yeah, defending against fascism, only $14.99. Yeah, we'll link to that if you want to buy it yourself. I think it's a hardcover book that you can buy, and I think you can get a digital copy for free.
Shirt idea. We should get a shirt that says "Official Member of Antifa." I bought this shirt for $14.99 on the back, or $19.99, or whatever we decided to charge for it.
A permanent price tag with a barcode or something.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we are gonna have merch in the new year. By the way, it'll be always linked. We could have it now if I wasn't so lazy to make designs. We technically do now.
Buy our shirts.
I think you can
buy our shirts.
The America the podcast store is somewhere
T-Log?
out there.
Okay,
we are on.
We need to get a Shirtalog.
I need to. Yeah, no, we're not on. Shirtalog is friends of ours. No, we.
Yeah.
Definitely check out Andrew's shirts, Andrew Kendall.
All Andrew Kendall things are amazing. Whether you
fantastic.
like art or writing or books or shirts, check out Andrew Kendall's stuff.
We're gonna move over to whoever does How Does It Get Mades. We're on some other weird site right now that I don't even remember it. So don't, you can't get through. I'm sorry. It'll be in the description.
This is a professional podcast.
Professional podcast. It's been so long. We were trying to sell shirts to donate money during the 2022 election, and it just didn't pan out.
Some of the shirts in the Shway Media shirt catalog are essentially take
Greg
that,
Abbott.
Mitt Romney, or
abort Greg Abbott, things like that.
Yeah, there were no WMDs in Iraq. Yeah,
yeah, that's how old it is.
Or I sure hope the Republicans pick Trump. Clinton 2016. There's a lot of those in there. Yeah, a lot of backlog of the Clinton shirts we had. So
we have 10,000 Clinton shirts for 20.
Please
for
God, please buy our Clinton shirts.
Clinton 2016. We have 40,000 Clinton 2008 shirts.
They make great fire starters. You just wrap. Yeah, they make great fire
the chemicals.
Starters.
They will poison you. Just like PragerU is trying to poison your kids. So not in the same way because they're trying to poison their minds. The Clinton shirts
That's
will
right.
just poison your lungs because of the chemicals in the screen printing material that we use. We bought them from Roger Stone. That was my fault. But he seemed, I mean, when a guy comes up to you looking like the Monopoly man, what are you going to do? Like, you're going to believe him. That's what I was told. Believe
Tim, last time he came up to you and he was like, buy this bag of magic beans and buy this magic bean bag.
Yeah.
And you bought it, and it turns out the beans are just normal beans, but it's just a bag that infinitely makes beans.
Oh yeah.
Like, I don't know why you didn't learn your lesson with the bean bag.
I mean, I thought he solved world hunger by making an endless bean bag. I don't know, but
they're not good beans.
They're not good beans. They're the kind you have to like put in an oven to keep a pastry from rising too much. The solid rock kind. Yeah. I watch a lot of Bake Off.
And they get really smushy and weird if you cook them too long.
Man, real talk. I don't.
They
like
taste
beans.
like salt. There's no salt in them. We don't know what's going on with that.
Ugh. I don't like beans, like at all, in general. Like,
but
they're gross.
The only propaganda you'll hear on this podcast that we will not
anti-bean
announce
propaganda.
is anti-bean propaganda,
which my wife won't appreciate as a Brazilian. That's their whole thing down there. Is eating beans.
I think you're wrong. I love beans.
Alana loves beans.
I love beans, dude.
Black beans and rice is like her jam.
Yeah, it's delicious. Black beans, rice, and cheese is one of the greatest meals ever.
Yeah. Can't do it.
I will say though, at Shway Media, we promise to only poison you physically.
Yeah.
Not mentally.
With candy.
You will do to your
mostly
kids.
sugar.
Yeah.
Like I make really good cookies. We're not going to
smooches
actually
and
poison
cuddles.
you. Yeah.
I'll give you little smooches and cuddles if you want them.
Yeah, but that's like poison ivy though. It's a bit of a poison. I don't know. We're lost. Just like PragerU is going to make this whole country lose itself.
We've done just like PragerU 4 times now to exit the episode.
I hate PragerU. You know what? Like it's Lord of the Rings. Pick your ending. Good night.
You've been listening to America the Conversation, a production of Shway Media and America the Podcast Presents. The show was created and is hosted by Tim Phillippe and Andrew Turner. The show's theme song is by Timmy Two Step, and all other music and sounds heard in this show were procured through the amazing companies listed in our show notes. America the Conversation is mixed and edited by Tim Phillippe at Shway Media Studios in Austin, Texas. For more information, please visit shwaymedia.com. Copyright 2023, all rights reserved.
This has been a production of Shway Media, all rights reserved. For more information, please visit shwaymedia.com.